All right, welcome back. So we're going to go ahead and install this Debian here. I'll bring this down here. And all you got to do is click the start button here. It's going to bring up this window. I'm going to move this out of the way because we don't need to see it right now. All right, it's going to bring up this message here. This bar down here, where my mouser's at. My mouser. Wow. How much coffee is in this thing? Oh, no wonder it's not even close to empty. This is my first cup, too. All right. This bar down here is the controller that we've seen on that last tab and what you can control, what's on here and what's not. So, the first time you run VirtualBox, it's going to throw this up here, this white box up here. It's going to give you a message. And this message here says, you have the auto capture keyboard option turned on. This will cause Virtual Machine to automatically capture the, and that's all it says. If you click this blue X here, that will close this message, but the next time you start the virtual machine, it will come back. If you click this little speech bubble with a slash through it, it'll never show that message again. All right, so while we're on this menu right here, let's go over this stuff here. Okay, in File, you got Preferences, Network Operations Manager, and Reset All Warnings you can close. Network Operations Manager, I don't think I've ever messed with. There's none active anyway. Awesome. Machine, now this file here, this is the preferences for VirtualBox here. But for the virtual machine itself, these settings are the same as what we've already configured, as you can see. A lot of the stuff is grayed out. If it's grayed out, that means that you can't change it because the virtual machine is running. You can take a snapshot, look at the session information, and it just gives you some information about the configuration and so forth. You can pause the machine, you can reset it. This reset here is basically the same as pushing the reset button on your computer. And if you play around with ACPI, you can do an ACPI shutdown. We're going to come back to this window here in just a second. The view, input, self-explanatory, devices. This is the purpose of adding yourself to the VBox users list. Because see, now I have optical drives. It says it's currently a quote-unquote DVD in the quote-unquote virtual DVD drive, or I can remove the disk, which is the same as ejecting it. Network, USB. Now you notice I've got several USB listings in here, and this comes with the adding your username to the VBox users list, because now I can take USB devices that are currently connected to the host machine and forward those out to the guest machine. Now there's a couple caveats to this. One, you don't need to you don't need to forward out the keyboard. It automatically sees the keyboard as it is. If I were to forward out this Blue Yeti microphone here, the microphone you're listening to me talk on will quit because only one machine can have that device at a time. So right now my host is using it. My host is using the mouse. My phone is plugged in and charging, and my host is using the keyboard. So none of the stuff I want to forward out. But let's say I had a webcam and I didn't want the host to control it. I wanted the guest to control it. I would just click here and then oh, I don't have it hooked up. But then you would be able to allow the guest to use your webcam and control your webcam. If the guest is controlling it, the host cannot until the forwarding is turned off. Again, there was no shared folders. I didn't have anything I was going to share. We can share the clipboard back and forth once the guest additions is added to the operating system. You can do from host to guest, guest to host, or bidirectional. And the same thing with drag and drop. Now, it's been a long time since I've shared clipboard and drag and drop. Previously, when I used it, both of these were set to bidirectional, and it worked very well. I can copy in the host and paste into the guest, and it's especially useful if you were running. Last time I used it in Windows. My host was a Windows, I forget what it was, XP or something, and then my guest was also Windows, and I just drag and drop from one desktop to the other, which saved quite a bit of time and got the file into the guest from the host. Now, this insert guest edition CD image, we'll come back to that after we get installed. But with this guest editions, this basically adds, this is where your video drivers and everything else is coming from, is that guest edition CD. All right, I told you we'd come back over here to the view. Now, if you want to do full screen, yes, I know, it's going to throw it up full screen, and then it's going to create this little bar down here for you. There's two ways to come out of full screen. You can hit this maximize button, or you can hit the host button plus the letter F. And right now the host button is the right control key, not the left, the right control key and F. And you can do the same thing for seamless mode. You can do the same thing for scaled mode. Seamless is grayed out because there is no operating system that supports seamless mode installed. Because there is no guest operating system installed. We haven't got that far yet. Scaled mode is something you see me use quite a bit. Basically what that does is it's going to scale this image to the size of the window. So if I maximize it, it maximizes this here, which we're going to come back to this. That way you can see this. You're not trying to squint your eyes and see this tiny little window. Okay. I think it's this. No, that wasn't it. Oh yeah, that is cool. There we go. So that was a host C to bring me back out of scaled mode. You can adjust the window size here, or you can just really kind of adjust it here too. All right, take screenshots, you can video capture, remote display, you can change the menu bars around, status bar, scaling factor, and you can resize the virtual screen. Okay, so let's get moving on. We're gonna go to scaled mode from here, and then we'll maximize the size of the window. That way you can see what's going on. All right, so click the window. Now the keyboard, the client, the guest has now captured the keyboard, and I can now interact with the client itself. By using the keyboard shortcuts, enter, escape, left, right, up, down, I can navigate this menu here. It would be the same as if you were to just take the CD and put it in your computer and you were going to navigate through the installation that way. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and stop the video and get Debian installed. It works out the exact same way as if you were installing it. In fact, I have a video series on Debian. I suggest you look at that if you don't know how to install Debian. It's covered in that video series. It's not part of this series, so it's not going to be included. When we come back, I'll already have Debian installed, and we will continue to talk about VirtualBox. Anyway, to escape out of here, you hit the right control key and you get your mouse back. So I will see you all in the next video.